Hudson-Odoi commits to his future. It's a good night for English stars in the Europa League. There's also some absolute shockers. We've got a roundup of the transfer news and, of course, today's Friday feels. All coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First off, and to Callum HudsonOdois, who finally, after months of negotiating, has signed a new deal at Chelsea. So what exactly has changed since January when Bayern Munich were putting in a load of offers for the 18-year-old? Well, the fact of the matter is he made his first Premier League start. He made his start for England. He had some brilliant form towards the end of the season, got injured, Maurizio Sarri left, Frank Lampard came in, and now it looks like being a young English player is brilliant news if you're at Chelsea. He only needs to look at Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount and look at the amount of game time that they've been getting to see that his future really should be at Chelsea. Frank Lampard did say in the summer that Hudson-Odoi, when he's back from injury, will be a massive part of his team and a massive part of Chelsea's future, so there's not really any reason why he should leave. I did speak a few weeks ago about the possibility of Bayern Munich signing him, but that's only if things are going sour at Chelsea. And it looks like at the moment, Willian and Pedro just aren't cutting it anymore. Christian Pulisic is failing to really settle into the squad, so when Callum Hudson-Odoi is back, Chelsea will definitely be a team to fear, going forward at least. So talking about one promising English youngster and to another two, coming from Arsenal and Manchester United, who both put in stellar performances in the Europa League last night. Going into the 73rd minute, Astana were actually holding Manchester United at Old Trafford, but step up Mason Greenwood. The 17-year-old has been called one of the best natural finishers he's ever seen by the likes of Marcus Rashford and manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and it looks like he's got a bright future ahead of him. He's going to be signing a lucrative deal on his 18th birthday come October, and it looks like Man United could have their new striker for years to come. What it does mean is that Mason Greenwood in European competition across all group levels has 6 games, 6 goals and an assist. That is pretty good form. Whether or not we'll see him starting in the Premier League just yet is remaining to be seen, as they do have Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Daniel James and a few others in those attacking positions, but there's no rush for a 17-year-old to be forced in. And the other English star is Bukayo Saka, the Arsenal player who started up front their rather youthful side last night as they beat Frankfurt 3-0. Now, I may say this with a little bit of surprise, because it is. Although Arsenal did get to the Europa League final last season, Frankfurt in the semis, they were a brilliant attacking force, and at home they were even better. So massive props to Arsenal for going to Germany, putting in 3 goals, including a fantastic performance by Saka, where he got 1 goal and 2 assists, and coming away with all 3 points in a very, very impressive night for Unai Emery's side. Much has been made over the manager's future at the club, and there have been a few poor performances recently, so that win will no doubt silence a few of the doubters and really give Arsenal fans a promising look into their future. So away from all the good stuff now, and now to some shocking performances. Well, there's some shocking performances from the team that lost, but the team that won, fair play to them. First off, an Apple Nicosia, who've been in the Champions League in the last few years, lost at home to F91 Dudelong from Luxembourg. These guys are barely just professional footballers and now have made it into the Europa League group stage for the 2nd time in their history and have got their first ever win. They've got the first ever team from Luxembourg to win in the group stage and to even get there in the first place. An unbelievable feat, even more so considering the fact they are now without a manager after their manager resigned just 3 days ago. And alongside this is also another shock, and this really is a big one. Borussia Mönchengladbach, a really good team in the Bundesliga, and someone who have been pushing the Champions League places in the last few years, including an appearance in the competition a couple of years ago. They're at home on the opening match day against Wolfsberger from Austria, who were playing in the group stage for the very, very first time. And what did they do? They went on 4-0 at Gladbach. That is unheard of, and there are some big question marks over the players at Borussia at the moment. And lastly, to our last shock, and this shouldn't be a shock, but it is, and I feel really bad for him, Loris Karius. The Besiktas goalkeeper on a 2-year loan from Liverpool had an absolute shocker against Slovan Bratislava. Besiktas lost the game 4-2, and basically, in the first half, the keepers kicked it all the way down the field. The defenders got it covered. Loris Karius comes out, decides to try and head it. It goes backwards. He takes out his own defender, and then the striker taps it in. It's actually got to the point where he's making so many mistakes, I kind of feel sorry for him. Like, making mistakes and getting over it is fine, but to continuously do it, surely when he goes back to Liverpool, they're going to sell him. After his loan to Besiktas, no one's even going to want him. I do kind of feel bad for him, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what the future holds. So next up, we come to our transfer roundup, where after leaving Manchester City at the end of the season, David Silva may sign for Inter Miami FC. That's David Beckham's club, who will be starting in next year's MLS. Alongside this, Sadio Mane is set to become Liverpool's highest paid player with a new 5-year deal worth around 220k a week. Rafael Varane has said that he wants Kylian Mbappe to join him at Real Madrid, and Leicester City manager Brendan Rodgers has admitted that if a big offer from Manchester United and Liverpool comes in for star midfielder James Maddison, he would find it very hard to turn down, and admits that Maddison would find it hard too. So lastly but not least, we come on today's Friday Feels. That is where you guys let us know your footballing predictions in the comment section below to do with anything of the weekend's football, and there is a big weekend of football ahead of us. First off, I'm going for Real Madrid to lose 3-1 at Sevilla, table-topping Sevilla, who also had a good victory against Qarabag in the Europa League. Second, and I think Chelsea will actually hold Liverpool at Stamford Bridge on Sunday to a 1-1 draw. And lastly but not least, in the Milan derby on Saturday night, I'm going for AC Milan 1, Inter Milan 2 to continue their domination at the top of the league. So there you have it. Let me know all of your Friday feels in the comment section below, and all of your thoughts on the rest of today's daily news. Whilst you're at it, you can also smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later.